Hi there, my name's Dan. Welcome to Wyvern Minis. I'm new to this game on YouTube, so we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll be something enjoyable. I'm going to be trying to go through a bit of my journey of getting rid of my mountain of grey plastic and getting things painted while being a busy dad with jobs. And that's starting with this box, Leviathan. I've decided to start with the Tyranids because I've got quite a few Tyranid models already that I would like to get painted on the table. It's this never-ending battle. Here are a few of them. There's some Tyranid warriors and things there. And this lictor, the old school metal lictor, I love this model when I was a kid watching, looking at White Dwarf magazine. And always wanted one, so I managed to get one off eBay some time ago. I know there's a new one coming out soon, and that looks excellent. But anyway, before we get to that, we've got some termagants to build. So here they are, the monopose push-fit termagants from the Leviathan box set. I think they look great. Really interesting. There's two sprues, you get 2 copies of each one in there. Monopose figures, I don't know. I have mixed feelings because in some ways it's like going back to having all old school metal figures where you've got only a fixed number of poses for all of them. But I do remember back in Games Day or Warhammer World Open Day, I can't remember what it was, I was at in 99 or 2000 or something when they brought out the original, I think it was Clan Rats and Chaos Warriors and things like that, the multi-part regiment sets for Warhammer Fantasy, which then was sort of a precursor to the multi-part stuff they brought out for Warhammer 40k down the line. And I loved that as a concept. You just clip out all of the arms and all of the legs and the torsos and the heads and stick them together however you want. A little bit of posing. Looks great. That was really fun and really easy. These newer kits that Games Workshop have done are a bit more involved. Definitely need to read the instructions and try and work out. Sometimes you need to put things together in a specific order. These particular kits in Leviathan actually are some of the easiest that I've seen recently. I think the Orc Commandos were the ones I did a little while ago, which it looked like someone had used a scattergun to put the pieces all over the sprue. You had to take them from different parts of the sprue to assemble a single buoy. It was slightly bizarre. But this is a lot more logical. Although I think they could be even more logical if they simply said, this is Termagant 1, pieces A, B, C and D, Termagant 2, A, B, C and D, rather than just sequentially numbering everything. That would make it even quicker and easier to assemble these models, but there you go. They go together really nicely, and I just spent quite a long time looking through the sprue properly, trying to get my head around exactly where all the different bits were. And I think there was one bit in particular I was struggling to find because the numbering was a little bit unclear at the beginning of the instructions. But anyway, once I got there, got the old trusty clippers out, clipped them all off and started putting them together. So my plan is to go through the process of how I assembled the models, got them undercoated, and then a couple of videos of actually getting them all painted and on the table. And I've played a couple of games with them now, which has been a lot of fun because I've been playing orcs almost exclusively for quite a long time in 40k. So it's nice to play something different in 10th edition. So I figured that the most efficient way to put these guys together was to take the same one out of each sprue at the same time, and then at least you're following the instructions once rather than going back and redoing it. So sticking 2 of them together at a time. I'm really just trying to find any little tips and tricks to try and make things a bit quicker, because I do have a massive mountain of grey plastic that's unpainted, and I'd really like to get it all on the table at some point. Maybe a bit of a hobby magpie, getting overexcited by new shiny things and buying them before finishing my previous projects. But I'm sure lots of us are guilty of that. I'm using the Tamiya plastic cement here. I've not used that for a long time, but I've seen a few videos on YouTube recently where people are using it, and it reminded me of using it when I was younger, doing airfix kits and things, and I thought, do you know what, I'll give that a go. I'm using the regular stuff rather than the extra thin, but it works really well. I had been using Revel plastic cement and the Citadel stuff for a long time. Sometimes I get stuck in the old nozzle when you're trying to squeeze it out. But I did find a good trick where you're using a match or something, you can just light it at the end, which obviously be careful handling flames or whatever. But yeah, that stuff's great, but I found this stuff is good, and especially for assembling things quickly like this, it was actually a bit more convenient. So again, getting on with the doing things as quickly as I can. So as I've got these things assembled, just ranking them up, you've got a total of 20 termagants in the box to put together, and then I could move on to the larger organisms, the new barb gaunts, which when I first saw them I wasn't too convinced about them, but actually I really like them now I've got them assembled. They're a bit like strange six-legged devastator marines, and you know, it's quite a cool concept, and actually they work pretty well in the game, much better than I was expecting them to. Yeah, they've got the ability to slow down the movement of anything they hit and that kind of stuff. So yeah, quite tactically quite interesting. And yeah, the leapers as well, which are just mini lictors, so they look brilliant. Really like those. The winged Tyranid Prime, a lot of people give that quite a lot of stick for its pose, but I really like it. There was the parasite of Morlek, was it, that they came out with quite a while ago, which had some dodgy wings in it, and I absolutely hated that model. Just the wings, it was like whoever sculpted it hadn't seen wings before. But this new winged Tyranid Prime, it's yeah, I think looks really good. I like the pose. I like it kind of having its wings all enclosed. It makes it a lot easier to transport as well, which is something. So for now, I was focusing on those guys, and then obviously the Psychophage as well, which is brilliant model. I really like that. Because my plan here is to get the Combat Patrol fully assembled and painted and on the table and eating biomass as quickly as possible, before then also moving on to the obvious big beastie of the Screamer Killer, which is the big draw in the Leviathan box set as far as I'm concerned, and the other bits and pieces in there. But first off, Combat Patrol, get that on the tabletop, play games with a fully painted army. You might occasionally see a couple of other little hands popping up. I'm not a Gene Stealer cultist. I don't have additional limbs. That's I've got my 4-year-old daughter. She's fascinated by the models and painting, and so she's going to be into it when she gets a bit older. But for now, I let her have a little bit of a go. She comes in and has a little bit of a go sticking things together or doing a bit of basing. She loves doing that. Sticking and pinching, putting all the bits of sand and whatever on the base, which I'll show after this bit. But you can see here I've got pretty much the whole Combat Patrol assembled, nicely ranked up. It's quite satisfying seeing them all come together, and very quickly. This didn't take a long time at all to get these put together. I think you can see I'm using the mold line remover tool there to try and clean it up. I think, to be honest, I could have spent a little bit longer doing that. There's a few little places on termagant tails or whatever where I think maybe could have done a little bit more work on removing mold lines and bits and pieces, but overall it's not very noticeable when you're playing with them or anything. I think the thing to remember with a lot of these things is you're making them for an army to sit on a table where you're going to be looking at them from 4 feet away or whatever. So it's not for my purposes. I'm not trying to do display pieces. I'm trying to do things that I can play a game with. Yeah, I'm pleased with how quickly those have come together. And then I'll move on to the base work in the next video, because I think this is probably long enough for this video. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, like and subscribe. If you've got any ideas for things, I've got quite a lot of things I'm going to be hopefully doing over the coming months. Yeah, if anyone does enjoy my take on trying to get things done to acceptable standards for the tabletop, it would be great to have you back watching again in the future. Thanks a lot, and bye for now. Well, there was one thing I forgot to mention, which was that all the music that I'm playing in the background is stuff that I've recorded in the past with various bands over time. A couple from a band I was in many years ago. So anyway, should be no no issues with copyright music or anything like that, because it's all my own stuff. And if any of my mates that are in the bands are watching, buy your pint.